Hey folks, Doobie Snacks here, and we got a really pissed off situation going on here. Now, we all know and love drag queen shows. At least I do, and everybody should. And there's a little town, southwest Iowa, that I love. My family live there, in Red Oak, Iowa. I have a lot of family and friends that live there. Also in surrounding towns. Red Oak has got about 5 grand of people living there. And we all know that Iowa is full of nothing but really right wing dumbasses who believe they're doing good for their country, not realizing they're choking the shit out of everybody. Now, Republicans have their way, they always have. And it's funny how they use the church and the Bible in order to justify their prejudice. Now, Minister Kelly, I suggest, if you're really interested in a minister's point of view, this man's got it to a T. I have been preaching this since day one about the church and the patriarch form that they began. Now, a lot of this is just plain bullshit. That labeling thing that I talked about a couple of seasons ago. Well, it's coming back and forth, and the right-wing dumbasses out there are using it to put a chokehold on your freedoms. Just like in the politics, just like everything else, they have to have their say and their right and la 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 la, you know. But what gets me is that there is nothing sexual about what they're doing up there. I've dressed in women's clothing to entertain people and to make my mother laugh at a time where she was feeling pain with the cancer eating away at her body. Now, does that make me sexual that I was trying to make my mother laugh? I dressed up in her moo-moo and put a hat on. I've got it all over my Facebook. Am I a drag queen? I don't care. I really don't give a shit. Okay? Because that's just another one of those labels. And labels piss me off. So, I'm going to get angry. And I'm not burning trees. I am clean ass sober for this. Now, the one thing I really enjoy out of several about the drag queen shows is that the freedom that we all are able to feel, that openness, that honesty. I am true to who I am. I am honest about my sexuality, about my love for women, beautiful women. And I got to tell you, there are some drag queens out there that are so damn beautiful. I don't care. But it's not about that. Okay, it's not. I've got friends and family that are questioning their own sexuality. And having people in power putting their feet on your throat, basically telling you that it's wrong because it's against God. Alright, now, Minister Kelly, in his wisdom, basically explained a lot about what it was in the Bible, and he does it so well. And I'm going to go even further on it because he brings up the Babylonian background and foundation of the Bible. You know, the Bible just did not come out of thin air. Like I've said in the past, it took about 1,000 years just to put it together. And it was put together to, one, suppress women's evolved. And the thing that really aggravates me so much is that, you're not allowed to dress and drag. Hey, everybody, history will tell you that they didn't have pants back then. They didn't have, those blue jeans or regular pants or any kind of pants. Can you imagine back in the day of Jesus walking around in khakis? It didn't happen because they were smart enough, all of them, to wear dresses. But they weren't called dresses. No, I don't even know if that word even existed back then. And the simple fact that the Bible's foundation is created from Babylonian and also the Sumerian. They took philosophy and turned it around into basically saying man overwhelms and it totally destroys anything that women. No, you got to help the men. You got to be a part of the man's life. Even though these women were a hell of a lot smarter than the men. And a lot of the biblical terms in the books that were not put in the Bible, Mary was going to start running the church. Okay, there are books about Mary and Paul basically arguing, no, I'm the rock. No, Mary was actually going to take over. Hey, there's myths about it. All right, you can't control it. But what really aggravates me and stings me is that these men writing all these stories about it have no clue. And I guarantee you they drive about a half an hour up north to the strip clubs up there. Just like everybody else in Red Oak did. Back in my day when I lived there, we loved doing that. Alright? And that was sexuality. And I guarantee you that if you look at these guys' computers, their background, so to speak, their web browsers, yeah, I guarantee you that they're watching porn. Okay? Because they're so uptight. They can't relax. So they got to take it out on everybody else. But back to the foundation of what these idiots are trying to say. Minister Kelly does it in a polite way. And he gives you the Bible, the Genesis. There are so many quotes that he is able to give you that lets you know that, that's not what the interpretation is. And I have been saying since day one that there have been so many different versions, and the translation always gets mixed up. Okay? So you determine what you believe the Bible says, but that is for you as an individual. It is not right for you to spread out and tell people negative things about something that they get joy and hope for. Okay? This world is going down the shitstorm. Okay? The climate is screwed. We just lost a couple of billionaires down looking at the Titanic, which is kind of stupid when all you have to do is just flip on anything James Cameron's done and you can see it from there. Okay? When you're going that deep into the water, yeah, I'm sorry, you're pretty much screwed if something happens. But anyway, back to our environment's basically getting screwed over. Mother Nature's taken over. Now, we have a political structure. We always have to have one and the other, the yin and the yang, the Democratic and the Republic. Nobody else really recognizes the independent because they're actually being honest and truthful. They actually want to change things. But, how the government works, they don't want to change. Hell, the Republicans don't think there's a climate issue. They're just sitting on their high horse. And we got Republicans trying to take away Disney from us in Florida. And speaking of Florida, they're passing laws left and right stopping people from being who they want to be. What the hell? You know, I question so many different motives and conspiracy theories about our government. Like, for instance, people don't believe we went to the moon. They still think that's a joke. Okay, whatever. How do you think they found the alien fortresses and found out the moon is hollow? Sorry, I had to put that in. I'm in a bad mood and I'm trying to cheer myself up. But I actually, on Peacock, there are so many different shows about the drag queens and the shows that they perform. And to me, it takes a lot of courage to express yourself that way. Okay? Truth in yourself brings out joy in the people that are around you. If you are not honest with yourself, with your sexuality, with your joy and hope, then you're not going to figure out who you really are. And that is projected into everybody else. You're going to start pushing your values and your ideas on people that don't want to hear them. But yet here we are in the midst of Red Oak, Iowa, basically restricting people from having fun. Because these old pieces of shit are assholes. Okay? Now, I'm not Minister Kelly, and he did it in such a great way. Alright? He was very nice, polite, and me, personally, I've done a lot of studying of the different cultures and philosophies and different religions. I've done it in and out. I despise the Catholic Church, ancient Catholic Church, because of this reason. They're the ones that put all this together in the first place, using monotheism, suppressing women, lessening their involvement, and all the while their popal outfits are dresses. Hands down. I wear a dress when I feel like, oh, but it's not a dress. It's a kilt. My Scottish Viking blood, I love my kilt. Okay? And it is my representation of my family, Clan Armstrong, which also much resides in Red Oak, Iowa, and Elliott. My grandfather and grandmother are both buried in Elliott. I have got an aunt and uncle in Red Oak. Okay? I've got family and blood all throughout that area. And to watch them go through this bullshit is very... Sorry. Okay, let's get back to what I've been talking about. People in this world need as much hope as possible. And there are a lot of individuals who like to dress up and prove to everyone that they are honest with themselves. They know who they are, and they want everyone around them to have that same feeling. Okay? There is nothing like seeing the joy in people's faces when you're up there entertaining. It takes guts to do that. When you're on stage, no matter what you're doing, you play an instrument, you dress up as a woman if you're a man, you dress up as a man if you're a woman. I don't care. If you're having a good time, then the people around you are having a good time. Unless you're like writing dumbass letters sitting on the council in Red Oak with your thumb up your ass. And your world at home is your world. I don't care what you do with your wife and children. That's your world. Okay? If you want to treat them like little Nazis, so be it. If you want to be bigots, racists, whatever, that's your world. but keep it out of everyone else's. Okay? I don't know who these congressmen or these counselors are. I have no clue, and I don't care. If you're going to put your opinion out there about shit you don't understand or don't want to understand, I'll bet you these dumbasses don't even know what's going on. They watch it on TV. Ooh, that man is dressed as a woman. Well, we can't have that here in Red Oak. The 5,000 people, let's keep them down, right? They don't deserve hope. They don't deserve joy. They live in Red Oak. This is where the Republicans are giving birth to all their dumbass little people. I got news for you. Not only the Republicans, but the church in itself there is doing a lot of this. Okay? There are a lot of little tiny cults all around Red Oak area. Okay, little tiny cults. I call them cults because they use the Bible and religion and God to basically control the community. All right, the fear they put into people when your soul is not able to enter heaven. Yeah, okay. Well, the Greeks were that way too when it came to Hades. Yeah, they had a lot of gods to deal with. And what's even more funny is most of them say, I don't give a shit, do what you want. Because they wore dresses too. Hello. What do you think a lot of the great drag... toga. Animal House, dude. So, let's think about this completely. Monks are more comfortable and freer wearing a dress. Are you going to give them shit about it? God, I hope not, because the Shaolin monks will rip your ass apart within 5 seconds. Now, let's see, what else? A lot of the pictures on the wall in Egypt, they wore skirts too, right? Well, it was too damn hot there, Arabs, they wore robes, but, hey, they wore dresses underneath. When were pants actually invented? Was it before the Bible? No. Was it after the Bible? No. Why don't we all Google it? Hey, Google, when did jeans come into play? These dumbasses are using every excuse in the world to control their environment. Well, narcissism can be destroyed with a simple vote. Red Oak, it is time for you to actually open up and vote. Now, I know the older generations in Red Oak, the farmers, I realize that they have a lot to say. But it's time for the younger generation to speak up. If you can vote these dumb sons of bitches out of office. Let's start bringing morality. Ooh, there's a big word. Morality. If you're going to use the church for your morals, then you better understand it and learn it. Because you dumbasses apparently don't understand a damn thing about the true... Well, Jesus was a prophet. He wore a dress. He forgave Mary Magdalene, right? Oh, according to your Bible. Even though, of course, Mary was such a common name. There could have been a lot of Marys involved here. We don't know. And Jesus was not made the Son of God until 300 AD. Thanks to Constantine, So, where the hell do you right-wing pieces of shit, get off telling people how to live their lives? Okay? I'm tired of all these white dumbasses. If you want your KKK card, just apply. You don't have to be a show-off. Okay? All in all, these guys want to be free to express themselves. It doesn't matter if they're gay, they're straight, they're bi, they're this, that, All these labels, what the hell do you want a label for? It's bullshit. Okay? Give them the freedom to spread the joy that they do. You idiots that are writing all this bullshit in the paper and all these councilmen that are making these laws and charters and whatever, go to a show, a good show. These guys put on I saw, thanks to my cousin, I got to see some of it in a video. And man, I tell you what, the music was great. The atmosphere was fun. I would go to that every opportunity I had because the honesty and joy is throughout the air. These guys have got a light inside of them that needs to come out. And that is why they do what they do. And you, dumbass white councilman, whoever you are making people realize that you're just stopping joy. You're being an asshole. And with all assholes, well, I'm going to be nice. I don't want to, there might be people listening that might get a little upset. I don't want to upset people. I just want to upset the councilmen and these dumbass writers in the paper that have no idea what they're doing. And it's old people thinking like that is going to cause a lot of damage, and you're going to hurt more people than you realize. It is time for you all to wake up and realize the freedoms that we have were given to us by, 275, 300-year-old ideals. And the separation of church and state, I do believe it's still in there, right? I mean, let's be honest, isn't it the separation of church and state? Now, when the Masons formed all this, they knew that the bullshit's going to hit the fan, right? George and all them, these slave owners, basically wrote us a bill and a constitution that gives us our rights that as an American we have. So who the hell do these old buddy-duddies think they are when they can go and use the church and state making, I don't know, dumbass rules. I can't, charters, So I'm just worried that the next generation is going to get affected more and more and more by these idiots that we are not voting out of office. And all in all, Mr. King dipshit Donald Trump is out there as a soon-to-be felon. He's going to get busted. But King dipshit is like, I wonder how many drag shows that Donald Trump's been at or had personally done for him, because, we don't know his sexual thing. He's still got to think for his daughter, I think. Anyway, King dipshit is out there running the roads in Iowa, and everybody's making a big stink trying to get into his, good graces. All these Republican runners, good graces. We need Liz Cheney back. Representative Miss Cheney, please come back and show these idiots how it's really done. Okay, so I've done my rant and rave. I'm now not pissed off well, I am still pissed. And there'll probably be more about this. Alright? But this is Doobie Snacks. I love you all. Peace out. Subscribe to me. Come on, man. Give me your money. Let's get this ball rolling. Let's get Doobie Snacks LLC Incorporated going, man. Alright, guys. I love you all. There'll be more to come. And Minister Kelly, thank you, sir. Very much thank you.